Hi everybody, welcome to Fly Tying 101, lesson number 11 now, glues and finishes. And this is actually one of my favorite dispensers for doing glue, simply because, and you can buy it, by the way, already filled with glue or empty, and then you can fill it with the glue of your choice. It's just your personal preference here. And what this particular one does, and I'm going to slide in a fly here for you to take a look at, is the real nice thing is, as you can see on a small fly here where I've got a lot of hackle and some other things around here, it's kind of difficult to get in with a big brush. So you can use this little tool. It's got a very small little dispenser on it, and you just squeeze in the appropriate amount of glue and move things around. So it's a very precise application or applicator. Some people like that, some people don't. If you're going to do a lot of glue applications, specifically on some bigger flies, etc., there's a couple of other things that I would use. Number one would be a product called Hard as Hull, and it's actually in a blue bottle, and it's about $4 or $5, and it does a very nice job. It creates a real nice shell or nice head around the threads and the head of a fly. If you're not interested in spending that much money, you can actually just go to your local drugstore and get a Sally Hansen product called Hard as Nails, and that works out extremely well. I think this is like $2 for the bottle. A glue that you'll want to keep in your fly bench is a product that would be Zap-A-Gap or any of the super glues. Cyanoacrylite, I believe, is the actual term for them. And I typically go with a little bit thicker one, and that's designed if you're going to be doing a lot of buildup of flies, etc., and you want to lock maybe a rabbit fur strip down to the hook, hook shank, etc. You really want to do that with super glue. And then this particular one is an actual gel. It works out extremely well. It's very thick and gooey, so I use that one as well. And then finally, the trick that a lot of people will use if they want to build up a tremendous amount of epoxy on the head of a fly, maybe you glue in an eye and you want to build up that epoxy to cover everything, would be just that, would be epoxy or similar finish. There's several different manufacturers of this. I'm not recommending any particular one. I just happen to like this one here. It's called Tough Fly. It's available in, this one's called Fine or Finish, and the other one is your base layer that you can build up. You can use either one, it just depends on how much finish you're going to build up. In the old days, what you would do is you would put some epoxy on the head of a hook, and then it would rotate in another device until the epoxy dried. Well, that might take 10-15 minutes or so. This system is such that you just simply apply where you want the epoxy, and then shine a special light. In this case, it is a blue light, like the dentist's light. Shine it onto the epoxy, and it will actually dry in about 20 seconds. Works out very, very well. And finally, if you've ever wondered how you look at some of the competition salmon flies or some of the flies you see in publications, and they've got a real nice shiny black head, don't be afraid to use again a head cement to lock the threads down, etc. But once that's all said and done, the trick of the trade would be to get some black nail polish, or some red in this case. I have one of each. So relatively simple, but of course extremely important. You don't always have to glue down the thread to the head. You could even use a wax product, and that would be waxing your thread. You would keep a little bit of this. You have to work it, and it actually will get softer. And I usually dab it onto my finger here, and then you would literally pull down and put this layer of wax on the thread, and then you could wrap it. Some people, especially the more traditional fly tiers, like this. It also works very good during the tying process if you're putting a lot of materials on the fly, where when you wrap, all you need is 1 or 2 thread wraps with this wax thread, and it pinches everything down nice and tight. So that's another product. Finally, I think the next and last tool we will talk about is the fly tying bench, what it is, how it's organized, etc. And then from there we'll actually go into some other materials, threads, furs, etc. Thank you.